Welcome back to my channel, Fazbear's Menagerie of Madness, where I'll explore the universe of Five Nights at Freddy's and I hope in a new and unique interpretation of events. The newest book to the Five Nights collection is 1 Week Before, which takes us back to the events leading up to the first game. The first established character in the universe, Phone Guy, is our main character and needs to survive his last week at the Freddy Fazbear restaurant of Hurricane in Utah. Phone Guy gets an official name, Ralph, and also has a daughter, Capella. Our role as the reader is to choose the correct path throughout the book to survive the week, as well as find the canonical path that would bring the story in line with the game's lore. This video is the path I feel would get us there. With page numbers displayed and inventory being recorded, here is the 1 week before solution. On night 1, your duty is to protect the animatronics and the restaurant's reputation. Following a successful time in the role, this would be Ralph's last week. He has achieved the Employee of the Month 22 times. Which, assuming he started after Jeremy's departure at the end of FNAF 2, this would mean that his first completed month was in December 1987, and 22 months later would be after October 1989, making the date of Ralph's last day no sooner than November 1989. Which, following YouTuber Withered Truth's video about the pop culture references between Ralph and Capella having tied into 1989, works out that this book happened years before Mike Schmidt would start at the restaurant. The animatronics roam around the night, but return to the stage at 6 AM to recharge. Management has installed large metal doors to the office following the hassle of legal fees and covering up accidents. You need to replace some lights in the bathroom, but first inspect the desk. Following some cleaning up, you will find a paperclip and carry it with you. Leaving through the door to the right, you go and change the light. On your way there, you hear the noise from the kitchen. You hide under the table as the footsteps draw closer. You wait it out, then make your way to the bathroom. You inspect the sink and find chewing gum blocking it from draining. You remove and keep the chewing gum, you replace the first light bulb, and listen at the door. You hear Foxy approaching and hide in the stall. Following having to use the paperclip to pry open the lock, only to then use the chewing gum to wedge it in the door lock to keep it closed, Foxy waits for a moment, then leaves. After checking under the stalls, you replace the second light bulb. On the floor of the second stall, there is a pen which you pocket. Upon leaving the bathroom, you come face to face with Bonnie and slam the door in his face. Bonnie moves away, allowing you time to return to your office. You return to the office and wait it out until 6 AM. Ralph boops Freddy's nose on the poster and an old security pass falls under the desk. The face and name have been scratched out. Ralph finishes the night and goes home to his 11-year-old daughter, Capella. Capella needs a pen to do her homework on the bus, so Ralph gives her his one. On Ralph's second night, he becomes aware Bonnie has lost his head. Bonnie's eyes are looking at Ralph, a sign that the head is haunted. The party room too needs investigating. Ralph uses the ID card to gain access before an animatronic can catch him. In the room, Ralph finds a Zippo lighter. Ralph starts fixing Bonnie's head by going to backstage to the parts and service. The room is filled with animatronics of different types. By grabbing a flashlight, a screwdriver can be found. Ralph repairs Bonnie by reattaching his head to his body and using the screwdriver. Upon returning to the security office, Ralph falls asleep. Woken suddenly, he is forced to close the door to the right corridor. Stopping Chica from entering, Ralph faces off against Bonnie from the left corridor, although rather than attack Bonnie, does nothing. The clock rolls over to 6 and Bonnie leaves the office. Ralph gets the feeling that Bonnie let him live. On night 3, a pool of liquid is immediately seen in the party room 2 using the black and white cameras. After checking the west corridor camera, Ralph makes his way to the mess. He boards up the first window and notices the pool of liquid is blood. Ralph hopes it's animal blood as there is a lot. Music starts coming from the dining room and Ralph pauses and waits. The music is from Freddy Fazbear. His microphone in hand, Ralph witnesses him walk past the party room and down the corridor. The music is similar to the music in the prize corner and is used to suppress the puppet's movement. Ralph returns to his security office. Without cleaning up the blood, Ralph continues on and passes through the kitchen. After collecting a cupcake as a snack, Ralph lights the candle with the lighter. The distraction is enough to keep Chica occupied after she enters the room. Ralph sings softly the birthday song and without knowing why, says Susie. Chica has a tantrum and smashes the cupcake before storming out. Ralph finds a metal gold ring in the cupcake and pockets it. Back in the security office, Ralph finds all the animatronics except Freddy. It sounds like he's in the kitchen. Heading back to the supply closet, Ralph finds a water pistol prize at the bottom of a bucket. Pocketing the prize, he takes the mop and bucket to the party room and cleans up. Returning to the office right before 6 am, Ralph gets to tell Freddy from behind a door, "It's 6 am, Freddy, go back to the stage," and continues to shout 6 am. To some surprise, Freddy turns off the music and slinks back to the stage. Night 4 starts with the animatronics having a party in the dining room. Being more active than usual makes Ralph uncomfortable. Ralph heads to the dining room to get to the breaker room. Ralph heads through Pirate Cove as Foxy is on stage. There are games back there, including some scales that require balancing. By placing the metal ring on the right scale, a ticket is dispensed. The ticket is labelled Fredbear's Family Diner, and on the back has 2014 recently written in ink. As footprints approach, Ralph hides. Ralph takes out the screwdriver and undoes the grate to hide. Foxy enters, inspects the area, then leaves singing a little pirate ditty. Ralph travels through the vents to the breaker room. While listening for clues to Freddy's location, Ralph waits until Freddy's music box is heard, resulting in Ralph breaking free of the vents. Ralph reaches the breaker room and finds the 5 buttons that appear to control power to the building. By pushing all the buttons from left to right, the power starts to shut off. Ralph takes the vents back to the security office right before 6 am. Ralph is having trouble remembering his previous nights at Freddy's. The restaurant didn't open today. The damage in the party room is suspected, although it does tell us that the restaurant has reopened following the bite of 87. In a moment of suspicion over Chica's absence, Ralph would close the right door. Chica would then make an appearance through the right window. Ralph was suspicious that Bonnie was in the left corridor and closes that door. Ralph closes the left door before heavy fists hit against the door. Bonnie then makes an appearance from the vent. Ralph, in a moment of fear and determination to survive, runs at Bonnie and kicks him in the head, sending his head flying under the desk. Ralph notices a message on the phone that wasn't there before. Using a code on the back of the ticket, the numbers 2014 access the message. It's from Bronwyn Light, a junior reporter who'd been investigating the restaurant's history. The animatronics wanted to leave, just as Ralph wanted to. The animatronics were making alterations to their charging stations. Bronwyn admits that she broke in the night before, although Bonnie got her. Bronwyn is interrupted by a child's laughter, followed by a mechanical roar. Bronwyn then declares, "It's me." Ralph would go home, although will sign up for a 6th night. This last night is the plan to disrupt the power. Ralph crawls through the vents to get to the breaker room. Upon checking if clear, Ralph notices Bonnie standing guard. Ralph chooses to go backstage to cause a distraction. On the way through the vents, a stench is coming from a small room. The source is a Freddy costume in the corner. It dates back to Fredbear's Diner days. Its head is backwards and facing the wall. Ralph takes the phone being held in the costume's right hand. The numbers stored within call extensions throughout the restaurant. Ralph makes it to the breaker room, out the back of the stage, and finds the controls to the power systems. The intentions is to short out the animatronics, and the plan becomes to flick all the switches to the down position. Backup power turns on, although the animatronics are needed back on stage. Ralph goes to the access panel and starts the stage show. The lights on stage appear, and all Ralph can focus on is the golden yellow Freddy standing behind the stage. All Ralph does is stare at the animatronics without any eyes, somehow aware that looking away would be bad. After the longest song the animatronics perform, Ralph closes his eyes in pain. When he looks again, the golden Freddy is in front of him, hands on either side of his face. Through the bombardment of "It's me" comes the voice of a woman. "It's me. Thank you. You did it. She'll be all right now. She's safe. She's safe." And with that, Ralph smiles and goes to sleep. But that's not the end. Replaying the book with only the cell phone in your inventory opens Ralph up to the story required to tie it to the first game. It should also be noted that the ticket you'll need to discard does have a code on the back. That code, once read, does not count as an inventory item. Therefore, Ralph knows the 2014 code to access the message service. As the majority of the story remains the same as the first time through, I'll cover the changes the second playthrough brings. After leaving the restroom, Ralph can use the phone to call a party room to distract Bonnie, who leaves to investigate the source of the sound. In addition to the information at the beginning about Ralph's 22-month Employee of the Month award, page 46 mentions he has a perfect record and wanted to avoid losing his streak. This should help establish this story takes place in November 1989. On page 45, Ralph uses a cell phone to record his first message.
Hello? Hello? I wanted to record a message for you to help you get settled in on your first night. I actually worked in that office before you. I'm finishing up my last week now, as a matter of fact, so I know it can be a bit overwhelming, but I'm here to tell you there's nothing to worry about. You'll do fine. So let's just focus on getting you through your first week, okay?
On page 77, before the night is over, Ralph has just enough time to record another message.
Hello? Well, if you're hearing this and you made it to day 2, congrats. I won't talk quite as long this time since Freddy and his friends tend to become more active as the week progresses. It might be a good idea to peek at those cameras while I talk, just to make sure everyone's in their proper place, you know.
Between pages 101 to 103, before the night is over, Ralph records a quick message.
Hello? Hey, you're doing great. Most people don't last this long. I mean, you know, they usually move on to other things by now. I'm not implying that they died. That's not what I meant. Anyway, I better not take up too much of your time. Things start getting real tonight.
Between pages 183, 186 and 187, Ralph leaves his last message before the power on the phone runs out.
Oh, hello! Hey, wow, day 4. I knew you could do it. Hey, listen, I may not be around to send you a message tomorrow. It's been a bad night here for me. I'm kind of glad that I recorded my messages for you when I did. Hey, do me a favor. Maybe sometime you could check inside those suits in the back room. I'm going to try to hold out until someone checks. Maybe it won't be so bad. I always wondered what was in all those empty heads.
Ralph becomes trapped in the security office. The power goes out. When he comes to, he can't move his head, but through 2 small eye holes, he can make out what appears to be the repair shop behind the stage. All his choices have led him here, and now he's out of options. The only thing he can do is wait. Thanks for staying with me till the end. If you enjoyed the video, then leave a like to help grow the channel. To find out when new videos become available, subscribe for future content.